Welcome to All About Commerce. In today's presentation, I'm going to talk about banking basics. The topics I'm going to cover are the meaning, definition, objectives, and classification of banks. Let's get into the presentation. First, we will see the meaning of Banking Companies Act. It is a legislation which came into force on 1st March 1949. The major objective of this act is to regulate all the banking firms in India. In 1966, the Act introduced a social cover over the commercial banks. Thus, it renamed it as Banking Regulation Act 1966. Next is a Reserve Bank, RBI. It is also called as a central bank. It is the leader of all banks in India. The major function of Reserve Bank is to issue currency, and it can act as a bank to the government as well as to the other banking companies. The major difference between these two are the Banking Companies Act will regulate the commercial banks and other banks, but the Reserve Bank is the one who provide license and provide other rules to do the banking business. Next is a bank. Bank is an institution which is regulated by Banking Companies Act 1949 and under the control of Reserve Bank of India. General Bank of India was the very first bank established in India in 1786. Let's see the definition of bank. The Banking Companies Act 1949 under section 5B defines banking as accepting for the purpose of lending or investment of deposits of money received from the public. It is the first part of the definition. The first part includes the objectives of the bank too. The first objective is accepting deposits and the second objective is lending loans and advances. The bank will receive the deposits from their customers in the motive to provide it to any other needy person in the form of loans and advances. Or else, the bank will invest those deposits in any other companies, so that the bank will get the double income. The one income is from the interest of loans and advances and the other income is from the interest from the companies. The next part of the definition is repayable on demand and withdrawable by check, draft, order or otherwise. It is nothing but the customer depositing their savings in the bank. It can be repayable only on their own demand and withdrawable by negotiable instruments like check, draft or any other instruments. Banks are classified into four sectors. The first one is in public sector, the second one is in private sector, the third one is a cooperative sector and the fourth is in foreign banks. Let's see one by one. The first is in public sector. It is fully owned and controlled by the government. The word like the unlimited will not be featured in their names. The examples of public sector banks are Indian Overseas Bank, Punjab National Bank, Indian Bank, etc. The advantages of public sector banks are it is very safe to deposit or invest. And they provide very less hidden charges. The employees are getting job security and there is high interest for deposits and low interest for loans. Next is private sector. Private sector banks are fully owned and controlled privately by group of shareholders. The major difference between public sector and the private sector is the ownership. In public sector banks, it is fully owned and controlled by the government, and in the private sector banks, it is fully owned and controlled by the shareholders. Shareholders have the power to elect their own managing directors to do the banking business. The word like the unlimited will feature in their name. Examples of private sector banks are HDFC Bank Limited, ICICI Bank Limited, the Karur Vysya Bank Limited, Tamil Nadu Mercantile Bank Limited, etc. The advantages of private sector banks are they provide a personal attention and better service to each and every customer. They also provide advanced technology and a better banking environment compared to the public sector banks. Next is a cooperative sector. Cooperative sector banks is mainly focused on the weaker sections of the society. Weaker sections like rural people or illiterate people, etc. The cooperative sector contains a three-tier structure to concentrate all levels of people. The first one is a state level, next is in district level, the third is in village level. Example of cooperative sector banks are the Tamil Nadu State Apex and the Cooperative Bank Limited, etc. The advantages of cooperative sector banks are they provide a loans and advances at very low rate compared to other banks. They provide a finance for self-employed artisans. Artisans include the weavers, carpenters and any other self-employed people. They also promote a savings habit among the weaker sections of our society. The next is foreign banks. Foreign banks are the banks which will have their head office in their own country and only have the branches in India. Only their own citizens can contribute the whole share capital for their banking business. The examples of foreign banks are Standard Chartered Bank, Citibank, etc. The advantage of foreign banks, they will increase the diversification, and the disadvantage is they provide a very low interest for deposits and the minimum balance which has to be maintained by the customers is also high. Thank you for watching the presentation.